Welcome to Love Unboxed, the podcast where we unbox queer love stories and relationships from the melanated perspective. I am your host, Manny, and I am here to support and guide you on this journey of just exploration, understanding, celebration, all of those things that revolve around love in all of its forms. I'm extremely excited for you all to be here for season one, episode one. We have so much to discuss in this one episode. But first, really, what I want to talk about is why love unboxed, right? And really, what I want folks to imagine love that's just really just limitless and knows no boundaries. It's teeming with stories, has so many emotions and experiences that really defy the conventional boxes society tries to place these stories in, specifically from the queer perspective, right? And here, what we're doing is we're really just tearing down those boxes, right? One story at a time, diving deep into the lives of some of the most amazing queer couples and thruples, people of color, and just everyone whose story really veers off the beaten path, right? And so I feel like my journey to this moment specifically has been anything but linear. And like many of you, I've navigated the complexities of love, identity, and expression in a world that really often demands conformity. Um and it's really like this journey that's like filled with its highs, it's been filled with its lows, right? That has really ignited my passion for creating this type of platform where our melanated and queer stories, our truths, and really our loves can be celebrated openly and without fear. And so with Love Unboxed, what we're doing is we're just setting out on this journey to really do just that, right? This podcast, I feel like, right? This is just more than just a podcast. I want to create a community, a call to really just embrace the beauty of our differences, the strength of like our vulnerabilities, and the power of our voices together. I'm wanting to make sure that this space carries collectively, in a way that we're able to navigate life, relationships in a really an open and deeply vulnerable way. So, what I will say is whether you are here seeking solace, seeking understanding, or you're just curious about the mirrored forms love can take, I'm just going to say you are in the right place. You are in the right seat. You are listening to the right podcast, and you are a part of the right community. So, I want to welcome you to Love Unboxed. You may be thinking to yourself, like, why does Love Unboxed matter? Right. And so, from my perspective, in a world that's brimming with like stories, the most universal and yet profoundly unique is the story of love and relationships from the Black queer perspective or the melanated queer perspective. And not all of those stories get the spotlight that they deserve. Right. And so, I think it was like James Baldwin who shared that like love does not begin and end the way we seem to think it does. Love is a battle, love is a war, love is a growing up. And it's really that truth, right? This truth, this battle, is where Love Unboxed finds its purpose. That's where I believe that Love Unboxed has the most opportunity to do the work. Um, and and from my perspective, like for too long, the narratives of queer love, especially within the Black community and other communities of color, have been sidelined, simplified, or altogether just ignored, right? Let's be clear on that. And so there are not just stories, they are, from my perspective, they're lifelines, they're mirrors, right? Into our own lives and the beacons, I will say, of what's possible for couples who are in melanated, Black, and other indigenous people of color types of relationships. And I believe that those stories and those experiences need to be told. And Love Unboxed is that place. I remember searching for stories that mirrored my own experiences, my own struggles, and the triumphs that I had in my relationship, right? And the challenges that I experienced in my relationship. And stories that went beyond just the surface to reveal the depth, the complexity, and the beauty of a Black queer individual navigating the world of being in a committed relationship, right? And so I didn't find really any of those stories that I could connect with that really talked about what happens in a relationship and how we navigate them. And this search was just less than fruitful for me, and often left me wanting more representation, more authenticity, more voices and identities like mine. And so I created Love Unboxed, right? So, that is really where Love Unboxed was born. It was born from a desire to really fill this void and to create a platform where, honestly, our stories are not just heard, but also celebrated, right? And they can be also celebrated over a couple sips of Lipton, right? Because the tea is always going to be hot. But also, like, we also have to think about where love in all its forms can be acknowledged for its power to heal, to connect, and to exist unconditionally, right? And so we'll dive into what unconditionally means, but exists unconditionally. And so this podcast matters because representation matters. Our stories, your stories, they hold so much power and agency in this world. And so Love Unboxed is really here to amplify those melanated queer voices, to shine a light on the diverse and rich experiences of love and relationships within our community, and how we navigate them as a queer community, specifically people of color. So I'm gonna say, like, whether you're like here because you're longing to, just see your own love story reflected back at you, or you're here to just really broaden your understanding of how to navigate your own relationship, right? Um, that saga of your relationship that you're thinking about. Know that this is exactly where you were supposed to be. You are welcome here, and your story matters here. So I'm excited to just be a part of your journey and have an impact on really what that looks like and how you're going to be able to shape your own love story, your own relationship as you continue to grow in whatever that battle is for you. And so I'm glad that Love Unboxed is really here and able to have a hand in that. So as we embark on this journey together with Love Unboxed, you might be thinking like, okay, what's in store? What am I getting out of this? And so I'm gonna tell you that I am not a Picasso, but I will paint you a picture, okay? Um, so each episode of Love Unboxed is really going to bring you closer to understanding the full spectrum of melanated queer relationships. We are uncovering a number of different things, but also covering all the bases. Expect to hear from some sickening guests that I have lined up. including couples that are just really sharing their own love stories and offering insights into relationships, communication, monogamy, and non monogamy, and just self love, and activists who are really just fighting for equality and queer representation. You know, these voices bring unique experiences. Each of them are unique in their experiences and their perspectives. And they will help us just really unbox the many layers of how we love as queer people of color. Um, but what I will say is that Love Unboxed is not just about listening, right? It's about also engaging. And so we'll have segments that are just dedicated to your stories and your questions. If you want to share your love story, if you're looking to seek advice or just voice your thoughts, there will definitely be space for you to be able to do that, and be able to share just you and your authentic truth. Those things are what I hope will help to also bring like Love Unboxed to life. And so, listen, Love Unboxed promises to deliver a number of different things. Our episodes will be your regular invite to explore, understand, and celebrate. And I can't say that enough. Um, Love in so many different ways. In also ways that you may have never imagined. So just make sure that you are staying tuned, right? You're staying engaged, and most importantly, like you stay open to the endless possibilities of love. That is what I want you to do is stay open. And so with Love Unboxed, the journey is just as beautiful as the destination. And what I will also say is, let me tell you, I do not claim to be an expert. Okay, an expert. I am not that. That is not who I am. I am not a love guru. I'm not a dating guru. I ain't none of that. Okay. I am just here to be, like I said, your guide in navigating these conversations, with some amazingly dope couples and thruples, um, who are going to be a part of the Love Unboxed journey. So each season, I will be doing episodes titled Unboxing with Manny, where I dedicate those specific episodes to myself. And really, it gives me the opportunity to peel back some of those layers, of my self discovery, my exploration, my reflections, my journey of self love. And some of those topics that are often veiled in silence. And this one really focuses on the fear of losing oneself in a relationship. And so I want to take you on my own journey through, I guess, this labyrinth of emotions, and what it's taught me throughout the years. And it's really more than I could have ever anticipated. Okay. So I want y'all to picture it. Okay. It's Savannah. It's 2014. It's almost a new year. Jacked is the it girl for Black gays, and Twitter still couldn't touch BGC stories. And we fast forward a few weeks, a few months, and I find myself in a relationship where eventually fear, not of the person, but really of who I would be without them, really dictated my choices. And this fear really stemmed from a deep dependency that really blurred the lines between love and need. And honestly, child, to the point where the thought of standing alone felt like standing at the edge of an abyss. And the fear wasn't just about loneliness, it was the daunting task of unveiling my flaws and really the parts of me I deemed dirty, um, to someone new, right? And it really seemed easier, safer, even to remain complacent within this fabricated reality of stability, in that relationship than to really venture into the unknown. And this is something that I constantly struggle with. Um, and honestly, in this silence, in this choice to keep my struggles at home, because let's keep it real, as the age old saying goes, was done at home stays at home. I realized that I wasn't alone, and many of us, especially within the Black queer community, are taught to, or just the Black community, period, are taught to guard our personal battles with fierce privacy. And I just really think that in sharing these battles, the vulnerabilities, we are also able to find strength and connection in them. Now, I'm still tight-lipped about like what transpired, as I still have respect for my past partners. And what I will say is there was heartbreak. Yes. Was there rampant infidelity? Yes. Was there manipulation? Yes. Did I get my lick back? Absolutely. Right? I'm not gonna lie about that. But for now, that's all I'm gonna share. And um quite frankly, I'm still vulnerability moment here. I'm still quite embarrassed about the entire experience of what transpired and my naiveness in that relationship. And it really took me a significant amount of time to understand that my worth wasn't tethered to another person's presence, that like my flaws weren't burdens to be borne in solitude, but they are just facets of a complex, beautifully imperfect human being, right? And I say that with all my heart because in no way do I believe that I am perfect, right? Um, and so really this journey of, I'm gonna say like self-reclamation wasn't easy. It involved a number of things. And really three of those things that I can think of are like, first, I embarked on a journey of self-reflection. I took a lot of time to introspect, deep dive into my thoughts, my fears, and really think about my dreams to really better understand myself beyond my relationship and why I stayed for so long and allowed an extreme level of disrespect. The second thing I did was I reached out to therapy, and I got into therapy where I really worked on unboxing some of those layers of my dependency. And I really learned to rebuild some of my self esteem from the ground up. And that last thing that I did is so important. I cannot tell you how important it is. I really learned how to set healthy boundaries, both with myself and with others, because I think it's really important for us to be able to protect our energy. And it was important for me to protect my energy and assert my independence. But it also led me to a profound, like, I would say, realization that I am more resilient. I'm more capable of love and being loved than I ever had given myself permission to feel and realize. Woo. Okay. And I'm not gonna dive deep into it, right? I'm gonna do that later. Um, but I will definitely be unboxing more throughout this journey. And I will say, like, if my stories resonate with you, I want you to know that you are not alone, right? Love Unboxed is, as I said before, it is a space where these stories are going to be unboxed in the most vulnerable way, It's about building a community where, you know, our fears, our flaws, and our journeys to self discovery are embraced and celebrated. And I think it's so important for us to think about those things through this journey of love and relationships because, in the words of Mama Rue, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Okay. So I think it's really important that we think about ourselves in our situations of love, how we stand independent from our partners, and who we are as individuals, just as much as we think about um, our significant others in our relationships and our love, being true to who we are. And so I just feel like together, like, let's unbox these complex, you know, experiences, these love stories, these relationships, everything that comes with it. You know, I really invite you to share your story with me, with us, with the community, because I think in sharing, we find not just an opportunity to heal, but also a way to move forward together. And I think that's extremely important as we talk about unboxing our love stories, our experiences, our relationships, how we navigate them as couples and thruples, and how we navigate them as individual human beings, because that is important too. Okay, so we are about to wrap this thing up, but let me say one thing. I ain't about to, oh, no, I'm just kidding. No, but I do want to take a moment to just reflect on some of the conversation that we had. You know, I really want to emphasize that it's really in the sharing of our stories, the dirty parts, the struggles, and the triumphs that we're able to really just forge a path to understanding and acceptance of like who we are, right? And it's not just of other people, it's really of ourselves. And I am incredibly grateful for you all's like overwhelming presence, your openness, and really like your willingness to go the distance with me, and with Love Unboxed. I think like your stories, your voices, and your truths are really what are going to help shape this community with some unconditional love as we get to explore love in all of its multifaceted gay ass ways. Okay. And so I'm looking ahead, and thinking about Love Unboxed and how it just really has so much more in store. Um, and with each episode, I think we're going to be able to just dive deeper into the expressions of love and queer relationships, hear from voices across the spectrum, and just really continue to unbox the beauty and complexity of our experiences. So, before we part ways today, I have a few small requests that can make a big difference for Love Unboxed and our growing community. First, okay, if you enjoyed the journey today and you believe that like Love Unboxed is dope as shit and you believe in what Love Unbox aims to build, please hit that subscribe button wherever you are joining me today. Not only will this ensure that like you never miss an episode, but it also helps other people find us too. Um, the other thing that I want to make sure is that, like, if this story, if this podcast resonates with you, also just consider to leave a review. I would highly appreciate that, and I love feedback as well. Almost last thing, please make sure that you share Love Unboxed with your friends, your family, or anyone that you believe that could really just benefit from our conversations. Share it on social media, talk about it over coffee, send a link to someone who might need a dose of community today, like an understanding. They may be going through something. Like, share the podcast with them. Make sure that you are using the hashtags queer love LGBTQ podcast, and also just hashtag Love Unboxed to just join in on that wider conversation. And finally, okay, we are at the end. I'm wrapping this thing up. I told you, I didn't say it was going to be quick, but I told you I was wrapping up. Your support just means the world to me. And it really fuels my mission and it enables me to keep bringing stories to light, right? And so make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms at Love Unboxed for just behind the scenes content, updates. You get to engage with the Love Unboxed community that we're building as well. So make sure that you follow us on all social platforms at Love Unboxed, and that's Unboxed with BXD. I'm excited about this. Love Unboxed is really going to be a space where everyone feels seen, feels heard, and feels loved. And so I just want to say I appreciate you joining me, Manny, your host of Love Unboxed, on this inaugural episode. We are just going to continue unboxing queer love stories and relationships from the melanated perspective. I just want to say, raise a glass today to unboxing more love stories, one story at a time. And I'm going to say, until next time, make sure that you take care of yourself, love on yourself, and keep spreading some love. Thanks a million.